If you have ever played Minecraft, you will understand the essential activities the game requires to progress in a survival world. From beginning your world with breaking trees, mining and looting structures, to late game, more time-consuming tasks, such as farm building or base designing, every world has a set of these activities laid out by both Mojang and the community that are necessary to a successful survival world. This brings with it a lot of benefits. New players have a structure already set out to guide them through their first few worlds, however will also miss out on many of Minecraft's mechanics that are not the most optimal use of your time, in place of activities that in the long run will seem to benefit the progression of your world much more. But what if I were to tell you that there is a feature pushed aside in place of seemingly more valuable uses of your time, but that actually poses, or could pose, a real competitor to more common activities such as mining? A feature that, while you will know about and will have experienced at some point, I guarantee you will not incorporate into every survival world almost at all. So why does this mechanic remain under the radar to this extent, and why is it more valuable than most people think? Let's find out. Fishing has been in Minecraft since Java Edition Alpha, version 1.2.0, and throughout the years has had a few changes to it, most notably in update 1.7.2 overhauling fishing mechanics and rewards, and in 1.16 with changes to the requirements to catch treasure, which were implemented as a means of preventing players from building AFK farms to gather masses of enchanted books and other items with minimal effort. However, apart from a few other minor changes to different aspects of fishing, the feature has remained relatively unchanged throughout all of Minecraft's history, including in update 1.13, the update Aquatic, a place where you would expect some changes to be made to this feature that had been in the game for 8 years at this point. Stick around, because later I will propose ideas to revamp this feature that I think we can all agree really needs it, despite it still being underrated and useful. In fact, it is not a stretch to say a lot of Minecraft players would see fishing rods as a combat tool just as much as a fishing one, and there is good reason for this, especially to people who still play 1.8 PvP. So if fishing is such an untouched feature, why is it underrated? There are two main aspects to fishing: the physical rewards of it and the process of it. Firstly, the loot you can obtain from fishing is on par with that of chests spawning in any generated structure. With the Luck of the Sea 3 rods, you have a nearly 2% chance to obtain an enchanted book, which has the same enchantment probabilities as a level 30 enchanting table. And with a fully optimized setup, which can in itself be obtained fairly easily from fishing, you will be catching easily every 5 seconds average, the maximum wait time only 15 seconds without rain. Catching a book with reasonable enchants is not an uncommon occurrence with this setup, and I have worlds where all my enchants are caught from fishing alone. Fishing is in general a well-rounded skill. Not only do you get enchanted books from it to easily max out your gear, but it provides a good, consistent source of food, especially in the earlier game, with there being a 71% chance of catching either raw cod or salmon, and is a very underrated source of XP, the guaranteed 1 to 6 experience orbs being obtained each time you catch something. Fishing provides you with 3 separate essentials to progression in Minecraft, which if obtained another way, cannot all be obtained together the way food, experience and enchantments can from fishing. The process of fishing, however, is where players ignore it in place of other activities. Why spend an hour sitting still right-clicking every 10 seconds when you could be actively mining or building? While it does require a lot of sitting still, with YouTube on in the background or any other source of entertainment, it is a relaxing way to continue to progress your Minecraft world, without the need to be paying full attention to the game instead of whatever you may be watching. As even if this still bores you, the most well-known method of fishing, AFK fish farms, apparently still work in both Java and Bedrock Edition, despite the changes to fishing treasure requirements. However, I have not tested these farms out, so cannot say for sure how good they are. But despite all this, fishing is still a mechanic that has not received much of an overhaul since update 1.7.2 in 2013, 10 years ago. So it is safe to assume within the next few years it will receive some love from Mojang. So what do I think could be done to make fishing on par with other, more widely loved and used mechanics? Before I go into detail on each proposed change, here are the basics. The fishing loot table needs an overhaul. I think the chances of catching a treasure item are good where they are, with an 11.3% chance of catching one with Luck of the Sea 3. So the way it should be changed by potentially adding in new categories of catch that I will talk about later. I think there should be a slight buff to fishing speed, and there should be new enchants specific to fishing rods to further increase their usefulness. To overhaul the loot table, I think the chance of junk items and fish should be decreased, rather than the chance for treasure. Without Luck of the Sea, I think a new category of catch should be added in, the idea of which I got from Hypixel Skyblock. I think sea creatures would be fun to be able to catch, with 1 or 2 new mobs added specifically for this purpose, with unique drops that have their uses throughout Minecraft. However, with each level of Luck of the Sea, the chance of catching a sea creature drops drastically, with Luck of the Sea 3 making them impossible to catch. In its place, a new enchant should be added that increases the chance for sea creatures to be caught, while decreasing the chance to catch treasure, also down to 0%. If the loot was balanced right from these mobs and from treasure items, this could behave similar to Silk Touch and Fortune, with players having to choose between these two enchants for their rod, and therefore having a more targeted goal when fishing, of either these rare drops from sea creatures or the standard treasure that you can get from fishing. As for the fishing speed buff, I think there should be a level added to the lure enchantment, going up to 4 instead of 3, and lure 4 only being obtainable from one of the aforementioned sea creatures. It's even combinable with 2 lure 3 books. The last enchantment I recommend adding would be similar to the way fortune works on a pickaxe, giving a chance for double drops from fishing. With changes such as these, fishing could become more of a staple in more players' survival worlds, with one-of-a-kind items only obtainable from this activity. That could have a direct impact on other aspects of Minecraft. But despite all these proposed changes, and despite fishing's continued ability to evade any kind of overhaul to the mechanic, it still remains an underrated way for players in any stage of the game to obtain powerful items and enchantments, without the need for massive farms or trading halls. As it stands today, fishing still has its uses, some of which are much more useful than most people seem to think, and that's why fishing is Minecraft's underrated mechanic. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, turn notifications on so you don't miss more videos like this, and let me know any other topics you want me to do videos on in the comments below. Bye.